Welcome once again to the Ohio State of Mind, a show powered by Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Alongside Tyler Danburg, I'm Caleb Spinner. We've got some sad things to talk about today. Women's basketball's tremendous run in the NCAA tournament coming to an end against Virginia Tech on Monday. We'll talk about their run and what finally did them in the tournament. And then also some spring sadness here as the baseball team has been sliding recently. 3 losses against Indiana last weekend, and then a dropped game against in-state opponent Xavier earlier this week. But they have a chance to get back on track on Friday against Minnesota in a conference series, a big chance to get things and right the ship there on Friday, starting on Friday, I should say. Tyler, a lot to talk about today. First off, how you doing on this wonderful end of the week?
I'm doing great, Caleb. Guess what? It's Thursday. It's opening day in Major League Baseball. There's nothing better than this.
Well, for the people listening to this episode, it's Friday. But yes, we are recording on Thursday, opening day of baseball. And off topic here, but man, we got a late one. 10-10 first pitch for a Cleveland baseball team? Who made that rule?
Yeah, well, you know what? Sometimes that's the price you pay when you make those West Coast trips. But you know what? As long as we get some coffee in us, I think we'll be ready to go. What about you? You looking forward to it?
Yeah, I am. And you know what? I think it's better that the Guardians have their spring training in Arizona than Florida, because this time difference might still be something. I'm not the best with where the lines go in terms of dividing states up with that, but hopefully they're at least somewhat off of Eastern time by this point, so it doesn't hit them as hard. But I mean, I know what a time difference does to me, and I do not envy what those guys are going through right now. But let's switch over to the college side of things. Women's basketball, a tremendous, to put it in one word, and I don't even think that does it justice, tremendous run for them. I don't know where, just because I don't like to look, I don't know where scouts and experts aside from the Ohio State faithful had them going this year, but I did not personally in my bracket have them going as far as they did. Now, my March Madness men's bracket was 10% correct at one point, so take that as you will with my women's judgment there. But just performance after performance. You get a dominant win against James Madison. Then you do a dramatic late game thriller from J.C. Sheldon against North Carolina. Then you go into UConn. You're playing Dorka Juhas, a former Buckeye, for the first time. You take care of UConn. You get your first win in franchise history against them, or program history. I got to switch back from professional to college lingo here. And then you go up against a tremendous Virginia Tech team, and you hang with them through 3 quarters. I see over that stretch, aside from the loss and the fact that the tournament run ended without a national championship, I don't see many other negatives in that run, Tyler.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head there. The Buckeyes led after the first quarter. They trailed by 3 going into halftime, and then Virginia Tech pulled away in that second half, and credit to them. But a couple silver linings. Taylor Mikesell, she set a new NCAA tournament record for 7 3-pointers made in a game. That's pretty impressive. And you're right, partner. This season was nothing short of historic. 19 wins in the first 19 games of the season. 7 double-digit comeback wins, including that game against James Madison. And then going to the Elite Eight for the first time in 30 years and having the chance to play and be 2 quarters away from a Final Four appearance. A pretty impressive season from Kevin McGuff and his team. Oh, and by the way, J.C. Sheldon announcing Wednesday night that she is returning for another season. So that's got to be huge for the Buckeyes.
Yes, indeed. J.C. Sheldon will run it back for the 2023-24 season. And something else to think about, too, with the return of J.C. Sheldon. Next year, you got to imagine, again, cross your fingers, knock on wood, flush ice cubes down the toilet, whatever superstitious method you have here, that she's healthy at the start of the year, able to play more than she did this season. You get Madison Green back for the full year instead of just part of it. Rebecca Mikula-Shakova went down for a little bit in the season. Emma Shoemate went down for a little bit. My whole point in bringing this up is you got to just get so excited if you're an Ohio State fan, picturing what a healthy Buckeyes team looks like, and then remember that you're going to have J.C. Sheldon for another year in that imagination right there.
That's so crucial. And there are a lot of people that are looking forward to next year already. But you know what? This allows us right now, this dead period allows us to look back at that season in 2022 and 2023 and just think of all the adversity that they had to go through, not a lot of, help through that middle stretch to the end of the season, but they were still able to fight through it and win 3 games in the NCAA tournament, which, only 8 teams at least can say that they did.
And tying back to our discussion that we had casually at the start of this episode, time change all the way over on the West Coast, having to snap that out of contention, get the jet lag gone, and the time zone change as well to go and compete with UConn and Virginia Tech, who are not easy opponents, to say the least. Now let's switch over to the Diamond. It's no surprise to you that this team has struggled as of late, and late being 4 games, the 3 of the 4 that they ended up playing at Indiana, and then, of course, the game on, Tuesday against Xavier, in-state opponent. Don't see him too often, but the Xavier Musketeers just routing Ohio State. Pitching change after pitching change after pitching change for Ohio State. Surely the rotation is thrown off here. You losing your confidence right now as an Ohio State Buckeye baseball player. It's been rough for them, Tyler, right?
It's been a rough 4-game stretch. There's no doubt about it. And the pitching staff has probably seen the biggest damage to them. They've given up 38 runs over the last 4 games. And that certainly is a number that nobody wants to give up. I mean, you look at the way Indiana played offensively, the 3-game weekend in the Big Ten series opener. I mean, that was just full domination. And the Buckeyes offensively, they held themselves pretty close, but the pitching was just not on that weekend. And then you look at that Xavier game as well. The Musketeers, they just took advantage, and they scored in bunches. They scored 2 in the 3rd. They scored 3 in the 4th. They had a big 8th inning where they tacked on the next 3. So Ohio State kept the Musketeers scoreless for 6 of those 9 innings. But then the other key partner is that Ohio State, they racked up 9 hits as a team against Xavier, but only 1 run home. They were getting guys on base. They just couldn't drive them in. Xavier made timely plays. They turned a couple double plays, and they're able to get out of some momentum. And the Buckeyes, if we're going to keep on talking about pitching changes as well, there were 8 pitching changes in this game. So 8 different pitchers used, and that's certainly a number that you want to see go down, because the less amount of arms you see, usually the better the result is, because you're getting more innings out of your guys.
Don't feel like I'm hating on Ohio State baseball here, because you have to bring up the negatives in order to paint the picture of how big an opportunity you have this weekend against Minnesota. Another team struggling in the Big Ten, right there with Ohio State in terms of lack of confidence right now. They're going to be coming into your ballpark if you're the Buckeyes. This just seems, Tyler, like a loaded chance for the Buckeyes to get confidence, get wins on their home diamond, and get things back on track. Right the ship, put it back on the rails. Your choice of analogy. This seems like the time that Ohio State can do it.
Oh my gosh, this is a golden opportunity. The Gophers coming in, this is going to be their first series in Big Ten play. Ohio State already has 3 games under their belt against a conference opponent. So that definitely plays an advantage. So there's one great opportunity for Ohio State, because they'll be able to kind of welcome in Minnesota a little bit. The Golden Gophers, they're a good team. They have the winningest coach in Big Ten history in John Anderson. He's been there for 42 years. But first-year head coach Bo Mosiello and the Buckeyes, they have a chance to try and take a couple games and even go for the sweep against Minnesota. And that would be huge. The chance to get in the win column in conference play, get the monkey off the back, and then go in to continue this 5-game homestand Tuesday against Kent State. That's huge.
I'll end our time together with a little bit of a logistics question, Tyler. Again, since you're one of the biggest baseball minds that I know, one of the brightest baseball minds I know, I should say. How does this play with your pitching rotation? Because you had to use 8 pitchers on Tuesday, which I got to imagine was not the plan going into an in-state opponent out of conference. 8 pitchers in 9 innings is not how you want to play that more often than not. And again, I can't think of an instance where you would.
Obviously, Caleb, it's a situation that nobody wants to go in and nobody envisions. But if you're looking at the silver lining here for Ohio State, Caleb, it's got to be the fact that, yes, the Buckeyes against Xavier, they used a handful of their pitchers. But actually, Nolan Clegg and Blaine Robinson, who are the 2 team leaders in appearances out of the bullpen, they did not pitch Tuesday against Xavier. Landon Beidelshees, the team's closer, who's tied for 3rd in the Big Ten with 3 saves, he did not pitch against the Musketeers. And then George Eisenhart on Tuesday, who pitched 3 1/3 innings, he started against Xavier, but he's been the midweek starter, meaning he hasn't started yet on the weekend. So you are coming into Minnesota with all 3 of your weekend starters in Isaiah Coupe, Justin Eckhart, and Gavin Bruni. And then you're going to have your middle relievers in Nolan Clegg, Blaine Robinson, who also have been the setup position guys that will pitch the 7th, 8th innings. And then you have Landon Beidelshees, your closer, who will be ready and rested to pitch the 9th inning. And then the guys that did pitch against Xavier, well, then they'll be able to at least get some chances to pitch, whether that be on the Saturday or Sunday games. They should be rested enough to go. So all in all, I think that the Buckeyes are a little bit disadvantaged, but by not using a lot of their key guys out of the bullpen in late inning situations, they'll have them ready to go Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Well, the way you just lay it out there, why even be worried about Tuesday? Throw in all the pitchers. Throw in 13 pitchers. Who cares? We got it all set up, right? This is going to be a perfectly well-rested pitching corps come Friday against Minnesota, or should I say come later today against Minnesota. That'll do it for us. No, not yet, Tyler. You thought you were going to get out of this, but I will bring it back. We need to do our Buckeye stickers and then something else too. So Tyler, who is your sticker of the week?
We're going to stay on the diamond, but I'm going to go with softball. They dismantled the Dayton Flyers 17-6 on Wednesday. Caitlin Farley, she hit her first career home run. I mean, the offense is firing on all cylinders. And then they have a big weekend against the Indiana Hoosiers. The Hoosiers have been on a little bit of a win streak. Indiana, they are one of the hottest teams in the country right now. They've won 18 straight games. The Buckeyes, they've won 14 of their last 15. So this is going to be a really good Big Ten matchup. Got to give my sticker to the softball team and head coach Kelly Kovac-Shanley.
It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. So I'm going to break the rules. I'm going to go back at least a week, if not a couple weeks, to when I first saw this, March 13th. I'm going to give my sticker to the men's gymnastics team and potentially the women's gymnastics team. I'm not sure if they have these two. But the Ohio State Athletics Instagram sent out a video of the gymnastics team, and these black uniforms are just gorgeous. I don't know if that's a home alternate. I don't know if that's a permanent. I don't know if that's a permanent uniform, but it's gorgeous. It's probably the best black uniform I've seen Ohio State wear across the athletic department. So I saw that and I immediately thought sticker of the week. This has it written all over it. I have to do it. So that's who gets my sticker of the week. Men's gymnastics / women's gymnastics if they share uniforms like the basketball teams do. Well, like the basketball teams do with their main uniforms.
I agree with you. And how about this? They're the 7th-ranked team in the country, and they're hosting the Big Ten championships this Friday and Saturday nights inside the Cavelli Center. So nice little segue there.
Oh, how could we forget about that? It's almost like that was part of my grand plan. But the other thing too, as we get along with this little bit longer than usual episode here, you thought you were going to get out of it. You're not. Congratulations to you, good sir, about being the next vice president of Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Election was determined last week, I believe, at the time of this recording. So congratulations to you. You're gonna do fantastic with this club next year, and I'll be with you for half of it. But I'm excited to see how you guys. I'll still be following along, whatever my plan comes for me. So I'll be following along with you and President Matt Goldman, and I'm excited for what you guys are going to be able to do for this organization.
Oh, we appreciate that. I appreciate that. And what you've helped do this year as president has been nothing short of fantastic. So I commend you on that. Thanks for helping set the standard.
For now, that'll do it for us on the Ohio State of Mind for this week. Make sure you're following along with SGSR's social media accounts on Twitter and Instagram at SGSR_OSU on Twitter and SGSR.OSU on Instagram. That'll do it for us, as I just said. Until next time, we'll see you then. But for now, that's the show. You're out of here.